What if I told you there is a single number, one number, that lets you calculate exactly how fast your money doubles, without a calculator, without a spreadsheet, without any financial training at all? What if I told you that number is used every day by professional investors, fund managers, and financial advisors, and it takes about 3 seconds to apply? The number is 72, and by the end of this video, you will never look at an interest rate the same way again. Let's go. The rule of 72 is not just for investments. It works for savings accounts, for debt, for inflation, for salary negotiation. It is a universal lens through which you can see the true cost and value of every financial number you will ever encounter, and it fits in the palm of your hand. Here is the rule in its entirety. Ready? Divide 72 by your annual interest rate. The answer is approximately how many years it takes to double your money. That's it. That's the whole rule. 72 divided by your interest rate equals your doubling time. If your investment grows at 6% per year, 72 divided by 6 equals 12. Your money doubles every 12 years. At 10%, 72 divided by 10 is 7.2. Your money doubles every 7 years. At 12%, every 6 years. 3 seconds, no calculator, exact answer. This is the rule of 72. Let's make this concrete right away so the formula sticks. You have $10,000 in an investment returning 6% per year. 72 divided by 6 equals 12. In 12 years, you have $20,000. In 24 years, $40,000. In 36 years, $80,000. Same $10,000, same 6%, 3 doublings of 12 years each. That is the power of understanding your doubling time. You can project your entire financial future in your head in under a minute. You might be wondering, why 72? Why not 69 or 70? The mathematically precise number is actually 69.3. That comes from the natural logarithm of 2, which equals 0.693. Multiplied by 100, that gives us 69.3. But here's the problem. 69.3 does not divide cleanly by most interest rates. 72, on the other hand, divides perfectly by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, and 12, which covers nearly every interest rate you will encounter in real life. So, mathematicians agreed, close enough is more useful than precise but awkward. 72 is the sweet spot between accuracy and usability, and for practical purposes, it is accurate to within 1 to 2% of the real answer. Look at the accuracy. At 6%, the exact answer is 11.9 years. The rule of 72 gives you 12. At 10%, the exact answer is 7.27. The rule of 72 gives you 7.2. At 8%, the exact answer is 9.01. The rule of 72 gives you exactly 9. This is not an approximation that gets you in the ballpark. This is an approximation that gets you within a rounding error. For any real financial decision, it is effectively perfect. Now let's apply the rule to every major investment type you might actually use. A standard savings account at 0.5%. 72 divided by 0.5 equals 144 years to double. Your great-great-grandchildren might see that money double. That is not a savings strategy. That's inflation's lunch. Bonds at 4%. 72 divided by 4 equals 18 years to double. Better, not exciting, but predictable. The S&P 500 at its historical average of 10%. 72 divided by 10 equals 7.2 years to double. In 30 years, your money doubles 4 times. That's 16 times your original investment, from doing nothing except staying invested. Real estate at 8% appreciation. 72 divided by 8 equals 9 years to double. Solid, tangible, and understood. Imagine you invest $10,000 at age 30 in an S&P 500 index fund. At age 37, $20,000. At age 44, $40,000. At age 51, $80,000. At age 58, $160,000. At age 65, approximately $320,000.
You put in $10,000, you retired with $320,000. You never added another dollar. You just understood your doubling time and stayed invested. The Rule of 72 didn't make that happen, but knowing the Rule of 72 is what keeps you in the market long enough for it to happen. Here's the part that most people don't think about. The Rule of 72 is completely neutral. It doesn't care if the compound interest is working for you or against you. It just calculates doubling time. And what happens when you apply it to debt? A credit card at 20% interest, 72 divided by 20 equals 3.6 years. Your debt doubles every 3.5 years. So if you carry a $5,000 credit card balance for 10 years without paying it off, that balance doesn't stay $5,000. It doubles to $10,000, then doubles again toward $20,000. At 20% interest, in 10 years, $5,000 of debt becomes approximately $30,000 owed. Same math, opposite direction, same devastation. This is why compound interest is called the eighth wonder of the world when it works for you, and the most brutal force in personal finance when it works against you. The mechanism is identical, the direction is opposite, and the Rule of 72 shows you both sides with equal clarity. Any interest rate on any debt applies 72. If your student loan is at 7%, your debt doubles every 10.3 years. A car loan at 5% doubles every 14.4 years. A personal loan at 15% doubles every 4.8 years. Know your doubling time on everything.
Most people think about the Rule of 72 only for investments, but it has a darker, quieter application that affects every single person with money, whether they invest or not. Inflation, the slow, invisible thief. At a 3% annual inflation rate, the historical average in developed economies, 72 divided by 3 equals 24 years. In 24 years, every dollar you hold loses half its purchasing power. That means the $100,000 sitting in a zero-interest account today will buy what $50,000 buys today in 24 years. You did not lose any money, but you lost half of what the money could do. That is inflation's doubling time in reverse. Here's the critical question the Rule of 72 helps you answer. Is your money growing faster than inflation is shrinking it? At 3% inflation, your purchasing power halves every 24 years. If your investments return 10%, your money doubles every 7.2 years. You're winning comfortably. But if your savings account returns 0.5%, your money doubles every 144 years. Inflation doubles in 24. You're losing every year without spending a single dollar. The Rule of 72 is not just about growing wealth, it's about knowing whether you're actually keeping up. The Rule of 72 is not just for passive money, it applies to your active income too. If you're getting 3% annual raises at your job, your salary doubles every 24 years. You start at $50,000, you retire at $100,000, 24 years later. If you negotiate, switch jobs strategically, or grow in a field where salaries increase at 8% per year, your salary doubles every 9 years. You start at $50,000, 9 years later you're at $100,000, 18 years later $200,000. The Rule of 72 gives you a lens to evaluate career decisions the same way you evaluate investments, because that's exactly what your career is, an investment of your most valuable resource. Real estate at 7% appreciation per year, 72 divided by 7 equals 10.3 years to double in value. You buy a $300,000 property. In 10 years, it's approximately $600,000. In 20 years, approximately $1.2 million. You did not renovate it. You did not flip it. You simply held it and let the Rule of 72 do the work. This is not financial advice about what you should buy. It's a framework for understanding what any asset is actually capable of when you know its growth rate and you apply 72 to it. 4 things to take from this video. 1. Know your doubling time for everything. Every bank account you hold, every investment, every debt. Apply 72. Know exactly what time is doing to each one. 2. Apply it to debt first. If you have high-interest debt, the Rule of 72 shows you it's doubling faster than almost any investment can grow.
Paying off 20% credit cards is the equivalent of earning a guaranteed 20% return. Nothing in the market offers that. 3. Beat inflation. 3% inflation means your purchasing power halves in 24 years. Any money not earning more than 3% is silently shrinking. Full stop. 4. Use it as a filter. Before any financial decision, apply 72. How long does this double? Is that acceptable? Does this debt double faster than this investment grows? In 3 seconds, you have a framework most people never develop. You walked into this video with a number that meant nothing. You're leaving with a mental tool that works on every interest rate, every debt, every asset, every salary, every inflation figure you will ever encounter. 72. That's it. Divide it by any growth rate. Get your doubling time. Make a better decision. The rule of 72 doesn't make you wealthy on its own, but it makes the gap between you and someone who doesn't know it measurable, definable, and permanently in your favor. The rule of 72. 1 number, 5 applications, 0 calculators required. Now you know what every professional investor, every financial advisor, and every wealth manager applies automatically to every number they encounter. If this video gave you something genuinely useful, hit that like button, subscribe for one financial concept made simple in every video, and share this with one person who you think deserves to know this. Because knowledge like this doesn't stay useful if it stays with one person. See you in the next one.